Commodity fetishism and counterfeit goods. The purpose of this presentation is to show you the ethical problems that arise when we fetishize commodities. The use of emotional advertising by popular brands shifts the focus from their products' physical, tangible aspects to the more intangible aspects, the feelings, emotions, and ideals that consumers associate with products. This has resulted in a growing culture of commodity fetishism, where the branding hides the human cost of bringing the products to market. The increased focus on selling a product's intangible aspects have promoted the growth of a counterfeiting industry where counterfeiters cheaply reproduce the tangible item while free riding on the intangible aspects that the brand provides. The counterfeit industry operates outside the reach of law and regulation, so these goods are often produced in unsafe working environments with unsafe materials by workers who are paid little, if anything. The rise of e-commerce allows counterfeiters to ship directly to unwitting consumers, taking advantage of legal loopholes to avoid tariffs and detection at ports of entry. The counterfeit industry is valued at about $500 billion annually. The economic costs include damage to legitimate producers, reduced incentive to innovate, reduced trust in popular brands, etc. The ethical problems include worker exploitation, consumer deception, human trafficking, child labor, links to organized crime networks, and on and on and on. Let us begin. So, what is commodity fetishism? Well, a commodity is a good that can be bought or sold on the market, and fetishism is when you're obsessed with something to the point that everything else becomes unimportant and fades into the shadows of the brilliance of the fetishized thing. So, commodity fetishism is basically product worship. The man who coined the term, Karl Marx, compares the reverence of the commodity to the religious worship of a god.
In that religious world, the productions of the human brain appear as independent beings endowed with life and entering into relation both with one another and the human race. So it is in the world of commodities with the products of men's hands.
Well said, my man. When we fetishize a commodity, we hide the story, the sometimes terrible story, of how it came to be. We think only of the things and not of the human beings that put their labor into them. Who made it? Under what conditions? Are they happy? Are they treated well? Let's take a look at the two components of a commodity, its tangible and intangible aspects. A tangible asset is an asset with exchange value and a physical form. It's the product you buy from the store. It has use value, utility, purpose. You drink the Coca-Cola to quench your thirst. You wear shoes to protect your feet. You put your stuff in a bag. All perfectly practical. Through the power of branding in the modern marketplace, tangible goods are imbued with intangible elements. They're not physical and you can't touch them. They are feelings and ideals like equality, love, envy. Since the 1950s and 60s, product advertising has evolved from focusing on the tangible, physical qualities of a product to their intangible qualities. For example, take a look at a Coca-Cola ad from the 1950s and note how it focuses heavily on the qualities of the physical product itself. Here we go.
Hey, it looks like somebody's been doing some shopping. And that means somebody's been doing a lot of walking and getting more and more worn out. Because by the time a woman assembles a complete spring wardrobe, she's generally covered a lot of floor space in a lot of stores. So it's little wonder that smart shoppers everywhere take time out to pause and refresh. And where else but in the fountain where they serve ice-cold Coca-Cola? Almost everyone appreciates the best, and the bright tang of Coke is always welcome after a busy day of shopping. The bracing sparkle and the bit of quick energy you get in Coke makes it the perfect refreshment every time. It gives you a bright little lift. It brings you back so refreshed so quickly. What the song says is really true.
There are times every day as you work or you play when a pause would be welcome to you. And it's then that you find the bright thought in your mind that only a Coke will do. 50 million times a day, at home, at work, or on the way, there's nothing like a Coca-Cola, nothing like a Coke.
Yes, for a bright taste and a bracing sparkle, for perfect refreshment every time, there's nothing like ice-cold Coca-Cola.
There's nothing like a Coca-Cola, nothing like a Coke.
Wow, so many words! Did you notice the emphasis on the physical qualities? Ice cold, bright tang, bracing sparkle, quick energy, perfect refreshment. Now let's look at a new Coke ad. Let's shift to the intangible here. See if you can tell which feelings the Coca-Cola company is trying to sell you. There you go. What's that got to do with a sugary drink, huh? Who knows? Okay, now here's a Nike ad from the 1980s. You'll notice how much they focus on the physical qualities of their shoes. Take a look.
From day one, runners have taken their sport rather seriously. Once things got a little better organized, people started taking notes, analyzing how they ran and how they could run even faster. Today at Nike, we know even more. We developed one of the most sophisticated sport research labs in the world to let us see, in detail, the peculiarities of style, the dynamics of foot strike. And at Nike, we're putting that knowledge to work, making shoes that actually help athletes to run faster and safer. Why do we go to so much trouble? Well, it may be the 20th century and all that, but there are still people out there who run as if their life depended on it.
Now here's a new Nike ad. They don't mention shoes at all. Again, see if you can tell what value they're associating with the Nike brand.
Is this the land history promised? Here, within these lines, on this concrete court, this patch of turf, here, you're defined by your actions, not your looks or beliefs. Equality should have no boundaries. The bonds we find here should run past these lines.
It's been a long time coming.
Opportunity should not discriminate. The ball should bounce the same for everyone.
Change gonna come.
Worth should outshine color.
Oh, yes,
If we can be equals here,
We can be equals everywhere.
change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
All right. The message is if you wear Nike, you support racial equality. Okay. Oh, look, some old ads for Louis Vuitton luggage. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
Take a look here. We got fitted cases. In the purchase of a fitted case, the charm and personality of it depends only upon the artistic way the fittings are arranged, both for the appearance and utility. All models, from the very compact and small weekend type to the most elaborately great features which can only be displayed with years of experience and designing. Fitted cases can also be made to one's own taste and requirements. Estimates and proposals for the same may be had from Louis Vuitton, 149 New Bond Street, London, W1. Trunk making is a specialty with Louis Vuitton, and his ability to satisfy the most exacting demands, also to offer the choicest materials and best of execution, is due to his world-known and particular understanding of his business. The art of a Vuitton trunk is found by its lightness, strength, and durability, notwithstanding the extraordinary elegance of its finish. All models are always to hand at the luxurious showrooms of Louis Vuitton, 149 New Bond Street, London, W1. That's Louis Vuitton. There we go, folks. Yee.
A heavy focus on the physical, tangible, useful qualities of Louis Vuitton products. All right, here are a couple of new Louis Vuitton ads. There's no words except for the logo. The focus is shifted from the tangible qualities of the physical product to the intangible feelings of luxury we can expect to feel when we buy a Louis Vuitton product. Celebrities add an immense amount to the intangible soul of a product. We like celebrities. We trust them. We watched hours and hours of them playing music and acting in movies and playing sports. When we see their picture paired with a product, all of those feelings they've produced in our brains when we've watched their movies, feelings like action, drama, adventure, or the feelings of success and excitement we feel when they win a World Cup, or whatever it is that Paris Hilton makes us feel, all of these intangible feelings are absorbed into the products that they're advertising. This is reification, condensing abstract concepts into physical form. Now we're not just buying a Coke, we're buying love. It's not just a shoe, but a signal to our peers that we support equal rights. And this bag incites the sinfully delicious feeling that our peers envy us. We used to buy products based on their physical qualities. Now we buy them for the values they present.
It's a tool of the bourgeoisie to mask reality with their self-constructed ideology.
Here are some quotes from a man named Bjorn Grutzwagers, read by our celebrity friends.
When you buy a brand, you're investing in the dream. People buy them for cool. You are buying quality, but you are also buying being part of a group.
The designers aim to make a nice product with a nice dream. You buy it, and your self-esteem will be good. The power of the intangible attributes of a brand is that they change not just how you feel about the product, but how you feel about yourself.
We buy into the reputation of the brand and the reassurance that gives us.
Yeah, good points, everyone. Yes, brands and their logos can be very powerful. Normal goods, like Oreo cookies, follow the normal laws of economics. As their price goes up, the demand for them goes down. Luxury goods, however, are economically anomalous in that the higher they cost, the more in demand they are. As the prices rise, so does that allure of exclusivity.
Consumer culture engages us in the false consciousness of worshipping the price we pay rather than the actual utility of the product.
That's right. Thank you, Theodore Adorno. Luxury is like Janus with two faces, where one face is oriented to the self, searching for self-reward in the form of high quality, pleasure, hedonism, and great experiences, and the other face is oriented toward others, seeking social recognition and exclusivity. Only the latter is nurtured by high prices. The luxury logo is an immediate signal to our peers that we have the means to spend an absurd amount of money on an unnecessary item. And so we're part of an exclusive and elite group, and we expect respect, admiration, even envy for being there. The highly, almost obnoxiously visible logos serve to signal all the intangible qualities that the company has spent so much money imbuing the brand with. In 2022 alone, the fashion group that makes Louis Vuitton products, the Monet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, or LMVH group, spent 9.5 billion euros, or about 10.4 billion US dollars, on advertising and promotional costs. This doesn't include money spent on materials or labor or production. This is hiring celebrities, printing ads, running social media campaigns, etc. And this brings us to the main point of the presentation: counterfeiting. Here are two screenshots I just took from my phone just now. I looked up Louis Vuitton bags on Taobao. It's like Amazon here in China. The bag on the left costs about 24 bucks, and the identical bag on the right, well, except the logo's upside down if you look closely, costs about $2,000. The bag on the left for 24 bucks is most definitely a fake for that price. The bag on the right costs as much as a real bag does, but it's really impossible to tell if it's real or counterfeit. Someone might buy the obviously fake bag on the left just because it looks real, and through the power of the luxury logo, it still provides all of the social benefits of the real deal. What's the problem with this, though? If someone wants to buy a fake bag, what's the big deal? Well, first, we need to consider why counterfeiters like to produce and sell fake brands, especially fake luxury items. Let's take a look. We'll come back here to the advertising and promotional expenditures of the LVMH group, our Louis Vuitton group here. The more a company spends on marketing, branding, expanding their base of customers through advertising and promotion, on building their product's intangible soul, the more benefits counterfeiters gain. For example, some Louis Vuitton counterfeiters spend this much producing cheap knockoffs, and they get billions of dollars worth of promotion for free, paid for by the LVMH group. Counterfeiters get to incorporate all the intangible aspects that come with the luxury logo into their fake products for free, avoiding the costs of research and development, hiring celebrities, advertising, promoting, opening physical stores, hiring customer facing employees, etc. They just need to produce a copy of the tangible product for as cheaply as possible. The rise of e-commerce platforms have reduced costs and increased anonymity for counterfeiters. And here's where the economic problem of counterfeiting turns into an ethical problem with major human rights violations. Counterfeiters are incentivized to produce fake goods because the global counterfeit industry is valued at roughly $500 billion annually. That's higher than the GDP of a lot of countries. Since they operate outside the law by their very nature, counterfeiters don't pay much attention to labor laws or safety regulations. They like to operate in developing countries with weak legal frameworks, largely outside the reach of U.S. law enforcement. The counterfeit products themselves are often made in unsafe workspaces with substandard and unsafe materials by workers who are paid little or nothing. According to the Department of Homeland Security's research into the counterfeit industry, it's underpinned by forced labor, child labor, and human trafficking. And it's not just fashion, but counterfeit goods can include pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, car parts, alcohol, cigarettes, and other goods that can affect the health and safety of unwitting consumers. Counterfeit computer chips are a big problem, even in U.S. military weapons systems. Counterfeiters are increasingly drawn to make chips for the military because the profit margins can be 1,000 times higher than for the civilian market. There are also negative impacts to the environment as a result of confiscated counterfeit contraband being destroyed, broken, burned, buried. All those toxins from those subpar materials being released into the poor communities where these counterfeit factories operate. All this, the child labor, the inequality, the environmental harm, it's hidden behind logos. Real ones and fake ones. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Okay, let's move on. Jeez, it never stops. It really never stops. So, in conclusion, counterfeiters and quite a few legitimate companies actually operating factories in developing countries have been hiding human rights abuses behind their logos. Emotional advertising and celebrity endorsement causes consumers to fetishize products, to worship them as beings with their own souls, and ignore the human cost that went into producing them. But enough complaining. What can we... That's it, boys. Let's think. Okay. Companies and the e-commerce platforms that host them could set higher requirements for their supply chain transparency. Make it very clear where every part of the finished product came from. And there could be stricter penalties for counterfeiters that violate intellectual property rights. There could be stricter labor regulations for legitimate U.S. companies that do business in foreign countries to increase the well-being of foreign workers who put their labor into American products. And if it turns out that increasing the well-being of workers abroad dramatically increases the prices of goods from popular brands, maybe we just need to buy less stuff. Then maybe the sweatshops abroad close down and those workers can make no money. Then what do? We need to shift away from the reliance on mega multinational corporations and instead build local economies based on their own comparative advantages, whatever this local economy can produce, and they can have an advantage in the global economy. All right, that's all I've got. Thank you for your time.